Hi and welcome back to It's a Miracle Beauty. My name is Brandy and my channel is based almost exclusively on utilizing what you already own and not purchasing a ton of new beauty products. Most of my videos concentrate on pan challenges and most of those are in makeup. However, I do have a passion for skincare and fragrance as well, so those can be dabbled in there every so often. In case you're new to my channel, I do one intro for all 3 of my pan challenges every month. I feel bad explaining this every month, but I do have new visitors every month. I have an autoimmune disease. I work a very long, stressful job, more than 40 hours every single week. And then I also have a very large family and obviously husband and everything else. So, and this helped me out by doing one video intro that I put across all 3, and then the challenges go through faster and I spend less time editing and everything else. So for me, it's very useful and I hope that you can understand and be patient with that. My pan challenges tend to be a little bit different than other people's. I feel like pan challenges are very personal. So if you don't pan like me and I don't pan like you, that's fine. How I do my pans is that not every product is meant to be utilized to completion. Not every single product is meant to be emptied. However, some have a goal of hitting a pan, some have a goal of just utilizing the product and not wasting products while if I pan these items and then I waste these items, it doesn't make sense. So my pan challenges, I started doing them this way last year in 2023, and I utilized and used up more products than I've ever used in my entire makeup existence. And then on top of that, I actually had more empties as well. Even though that wasn't my supreme goal, I actually utilized to completion more products. I also started figuring out things about my own tastes and my own preferences much easier in that system than I had in previous pan challenges. So this year I did the same basic system, but 3 different pan challenges. So I have the classic 24 and 24. I feel like a lot of pan challengers like that one. It just matches whatever year we're in. So 20 and 20, 21 and 21, etc. That one tends to be ones I'm going to rotate in and out pretty frequently. It's not necessarily long-term use. I also have a 12x74. These are items I either want to use to completion or I actually want to just get a lot of product used in this time frame. There's definitely products in that pan challenge that there's no chance I could use them by July, but they're products I want to place an important concentration on so that I use as much of them as I can by July 4th. And then the last pan challenge also has 12 items, and that is called Dead to Me. And that means the products are either expired, about to expire, I don't like them, they're almost used up. Like there's a lot of versions for that one, but they're all supremely in the same place. We're trying to either use them up or get as much use as we can before they expire. So I hope that you will like, share, subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. If you like pan challenges, I hope you'll stick around and check this out. And let's get started on the next pan challenge. Thank you again for being patient about my intro. It does help me a lot. I cannot even express how much it helps me. So this is the first pan challenge of the month, and this is the 24 and 24. This is one that typically I'm going to see the most rotation through. I don't think this month I have any rotations on this list, but eventually this is the one you're going to start seeing things rotate out and rotate in so I can utilize as much of my collection or makeup as I can. So the very first item I have is a Pat Morales? No, I don't even know where that came from. Very first thing I have is a Pat McGrath palette. This is Bronze Borealis. She's released this, I believe, more than once. This is from the Celestial Odyssey collection, but I believe this has come out in other types of collections. This is just a bronzy, neutral, perfect for work type of palette. And I have been utilizing it for work almost every single day that I go to the office. I work from home typically 3 days a week, and then I work in the office 2 days a week. My office is about 45 minutes to an hour and a half from my house, depending on traffic. But over the next 3 weeks, I'm actually going to be working exclusively from home because my son's in driver's training locally, and I wouldn't have time to get back, and my husband travels for work. So long story short, my pan challenges probably will slow down a bit in March and then pick back up in April, because if I'm home, I don't always wear makeup. It's just, I like to sleep in and do less. So, but this is one I've used quite a bit, and I use at least one shade almost every time I get ready for work. And so far, I said before, and I feel like this stands for Pat McGrath, don't agree, but this is not old enough to have poor quality yet, and it's already starting to not function as it should. The shimmers or the more glittery shades. I guess they're all, I think those three are all shimmers, if I'm not mistaken. The satin is very patchy, and I love her maroon shades. When you get them full capacity or opacity, they're beautiful, but it looks very patchy while I work on it. And that's something that's a bit frustrating for the price frame. I buy my Natasha Denona or other ones and I don't have any of those issues. So that's why I have 100% stopped buying Pat McGrath. Also, her price jumps I've noticed recently are crazy. But if you like Pat McGrath, do you, but I am no longer purchasing her products. Her return policy was my main driver, but a lot of other factors have come into play now. The next item is the Makeup by Mario Stick Bronzer. This is his original one that he released. This is a very warm bronzer, and it's difficult for me to really utilize. That's how much we're at right now. It's difficult for me to utilize fully in the winter. As we get into the summer months, I think I will get more use out of this, so I am leaving it in for now, but we'll see how things go. I have 2 palettes by Wayne Goss in this. I've been utilizing these the bare minimum number of times recently, and it's not because I dislike these products. I actually think they're really good. This is the bronzer one, and if you can tell, there is a cool toned and a warm toned. This cool tone one works really good on my skin, although I do have to layer it even for me and my glow in the dark self. It is so fair, but the products work fine. They're just not something that I guess I would put it as make me super excited to use them. So there's nothing that's crazy amazing about them, nothing terrible about them. They're just there. This is a highlighter and a very, very pale blush. This blush does not typically show up on my cheeks unless I layer it with something else. And I am so fair. I mean, look at inside of my arms. I mean, I'm fair. The next item is probably one of my crowning prides of joy from last year. This is my ambient lighting palette by Hourglass. And if you look, there is a huge pan forming in that middle shade. This is one that I am very much applying everything I have on this. I use it 20-25 times a month, and it's definitely important to me to finish that shade. I am going to, I believe, at least as of now, my plan is to go into this shade over here, the more cool tone one, and pan that one next, because that's one I can use over my bronzer. I can use it to blend, and it has a lot of uses, so I'm definitely gonna keep using that. Next one I have is Laura Mercier's. This is the blurring primer, pure canvas blurring primer. I received this in Gratis when I worked at Ulta, so I'm just interested in not wasting a product. I didn't pay anything for it, so it's just something I don't want to waste. As you can see, I've made significant progress in the last 2 months, so it's definitely something that I'm happy about, and it's going to be a success in my book no matter how much I use, but I am leaving it in as of now, and I think that for now I'm going to keep using it. I don't love it or hate it. It's fine. I definitely like some other ones more. For smoothing primers, I definitely like the glowish one that I am assuming is discontinued now by the recent news with Huda Beauty. And then I also love the liquid putty primer. That one's really good. And then there's another one I can't think of the name of. I had to go bring it up because it was driving me crazy. It's the Iconic London Underglow Blurring Primer. I used that one time, was not sold on it, and then I used it again, and now I'm hooked. That was the Laura Mercier. Next is my Shiseido foundation. It is finally just slightly below that line. This is one that is actually one of my favorite foundations normally, but for some reason I've not been in the mood to use it. So for all of February, I grabbed it the basic number of times, which is not norm for me. I really enjoy this foundation. I think it's because I have some new ones that I bought right at the end of the year, and then I also bought one this year at the end of the first quarter when I do my declutter and all the stuff I normally do at the end of my first quarter, which is my inventory, my declutter. I'm actually going to show you what I paid last year and what I paid this year in beauty products. Last year's is a version of it because I could not get stuff I did in store. I could only do stuff online. It's still really crazy numbers. I'm just going to say that, especially the last quarter is crazy. But I'm really trying to be cognizant of the purchases that I make. So I'm way down from last year, and I'll go over that. But I will continue using this. I'm sure I will, fall back in love with it and enjoy using it more. I just, for right now, it's not been my number one. And not because it doesn't look good when I put it on. Once I use it, I love it. But I just don't grab for it as easily as I do some of the other ones right now because they're new and they're pretty and they're shiny. So next is my Dose of Colors concealer. This is actually, I think, my second or third one. I want to think this is my third, but my second one, I think I didn't need to utilize fully. I think it went bad when I was using it or something. I can't remember how it worked. But I utilized one of these to completion originally, and then now I have this one. This one is slightly light for me. It does brighten my under eye, but I have to be careful how much I use. I enjoy this one. Technically, this is expired at this point. It is 1 year old, a little over a year old, a year and 2-3 months, so maybe 15 months old. But it still smells good, works good, looks good, the whole deal. So I'm going to keep utilizing it. And I do still really love that primer or concealer. Next is my Becca color corrector. When I put this in the challenge last year, it was brand new. And as you can see now, let me see if I can get it. Yep, there you go. Big pan. Now it's still on the sides. I still have a ton of product to use. Let me see if I pick up over here. Trying to always find the best lighting for some of these fair toned products. There's still a lot on the sides, but I still thoroughly enjoy this product and I probably will repurchase it when it's gone. Next is the Say bronzer. This is one that is expired, absolutely without question. Actually, that one, the Becca one, was expired too. That is the Becca Smashbox. It's not Becca expired, but it's expired. This is the Say bronzer. This is their cream bronzer. I always warn people, this is the light bronze, and this does not go on my skin this dark. Like, it looks a lot darker in the pan. This is one that I don't know how much use I have left out of this, but I'm trying to get as much as I can before it expires. It's definitely getting drier. It's definitely not working perfectly, but I think that it's 15-ish months old, so I'm okay with just trying to utilize as much as I can while it's usable. Next is my Kevin Aucoin. I have 2 items from Kevin Aucoin in this challenge. I have his Sensual Skin Enhancer, and this is in a concealer, and then I have his sculpting powder for a contour. So if we look at the contour first, I don't know that I'll be able to get it to pick up on screen, but there is a huge dip in this. I hope that's showing because it's a pretty big dip. So this dip is, like, I would say we're probably not far from hitting pan in that, but this is one of my favorite contours and I'm going to use it until it's literally got nothing left in it because it's the best. If you have fair skin, that is a beautiful one. And I believe, yeah, mine's in light, so they have more than one shade. So if you were looking for a contour shade, I would recommend that. The concealer is a little bit different for me. If you can tell by looking at it, and I'm not sure if it's going to show up on the camera, but it does have a little bit of a warmer tone to it. This is, doesn't tell me, I don't think it's this. I'm trying to look for the shade. I'm stuttering and stammering. It says SX02, but I don't think that's the shade. It has 18-month shelf life, so it's still good. It's not expired yet. But this tends to look really good on my under eye, but it tends to run a little bit warm, which makes me turn orange, which makes it a problem. So I have been utilizing this to cover any spots that I have, or using it with that dose of colors. It kind of washes it out, and then they work really well together. Next is my Natasha Denona Super Glow. I have a feeling I'm probably going to rotate this out pretty soon. This used to be one of my favorite highlighters. As you can tell, I still use highlighter. I love highlighter, but this one just isn't my favorite anymore. It's not bad, but it's also not fantastic. It's kind of one of those things. So definitely thinking about rotating that one out. My Mykonos Buxom, I'm going to keep this in until my Rare that's in the next pan. I have a Rare Beauty blush, like the liquid. This matches it perfectly. So until that's gone, I'm going to leave this in the challenge. And it's getting a little bit of disturbance, but it's not very well used. It never was. It's just one I didn't use that much. Another one that doesn't have a ton of use in it is the Jaclyn Hill Extra. This is now no more. I'm pretty sure Ulta is either completely sold out or close to being sold out of other products. And so this is like a little bit less than halfway. This is just a nude colored highlighter. I use this for my inner corner and sometimes my brow bone, but pretty much my inner corner is all I use it for. Next is the Shade and Light by KVD. This one actually does say Kat Von D because this was part of the mystery boxes they did when they were eliminating her name from everything. And this was my second one. I had sold this thinking, I'm painting this shade right here, so you can see there's some disruption. I had sold my original one thinking I didn't want it anymore, promptly regretted it, and then got this in the mystery box, so I was pretty excited. Next are my Charlotte Tilbury's, both bronzers I have in this challenge. The cream one, I have a really good dip going, and it's going to hit pan soon. And it does look like this. So hopefully the dip is down in this area right here, so hopefully that's showing up. I enjoy this bronzer. I think it works really well. I think that it's something that if the price was lower, I'd probably purchase consistently. If I ever have one bronzer, I would be okay with buying that one, but I'm probably never gonna have one bronzer, so I probably will never purchase it again. And then this is the powder one. This is shade 1. I actually bought shade 1, returned it without using it, then bought shade 2, tried it, didn't like it. It was a little bit too like warm for my skin tone. So I went back and bought shade 1, which is this one again. And this I have to build up extensively for it to look like bronzer. So I think I'm just in between shades and I probably will never find a good shade. So I'm just trying to get as much use as I can out of these. Well, the one I like, the powder, I'm trying to get as much use as I can. Next is my Huda concealer. This is one I explained in the introduction to, is that it's actually way too fair, but I got it, I think after my, like, I can't remember how it works. There was like 20% off plus I think I had a gift card or something. In the end, I paid $9 for it. That's how it worked out. And so I felt stupid returning it, but it's like really, I mean, like, look at that. It's really fair. So I'm just trying to use it where I can. I use it for eyeshadow base. I use it for lightening that orangey concealer. Like, I just try to use it wherever I can. Next is my Milk Makeup Concealer. I enjoy this one. This one's definitely one. This is in shade, I guess I should tell you that shade. That shade is Yogurt Drops, and it's 1.5B. And then this one is 4N. This is a perfect matchy matte shade. Like, it's not a brightening shade. It's not a darkening or like contouring shade. It's a perfect one. I can actually use this for foundation. I enjoy this one. I'm just trying to get use out of it. It's not... it might be bad. Yeah, it's 12 months. It probably is expired technically, but it's still working well and I'm not having any problems with it. Next is my e.l.f. Bora Bora. This does look like this, and it is, well, actually looking really gross, so let me wipe it out first. I used my bronzer brush in it the other day, and now I know why I don't want to do that in the future. But it's this color. Since we're touching it, might as well show you the actual color. I really enjoy cool tone pinks. I've been told before that cool tone people shouldn't wear cool tone pinks, but I enjoy them. I think they look good with cool toned eye looks, and that's definitely one that I enjoy. The e.l.f. ones I don't usually keep in super long because they're such a cheap product, but that's one I actually enjoy, so I'm going to leave it in it for now. I may eventually move that out. I haven't decided yet. So then I have one more other e.l.f. one. This is the e.l.f. Luminous Bronzer. Actually, I have two other e.l.f. ones. I have the e.l.f. Luminous Bronzer. This was the second set of bronzers they brought out, and then this is the contour shade. What do they call this one? Vacay Mode or Vacay Mood. So it's just a luminous bronzer, and it has the cool tone to it. And then I have my original, this is the, what is it, 1.5? No, shade 1 of the e.l.f. Halo Glow. I actually have the 0.5 now. This is very orange on me. As long as I use it with a good foundation, I'm usually okay, but I'm just trying to pan this to get it out of here. For e.l.f., it's an expensive product for e.l.f., but overall in the scheme of things, it's not an expensive product. It's about 15, 16 bucks. And then the last one is a Pat McGrath blush. This is one of the original blushes. This is in Nymphet. And I'm not, well, I guess I'm seeing a little bit of disruption on the tops of the roses. I enjoy this blush. It works well. I have no problem with it. It could last the whole year for all I know because it's a product I enjoy. So that is it for the 24 and 24 pan. I hope that you'll come back and view my 12 by 74 and my Dead to Me pans. Those will be filmed in rapid succession after this and go up in a couple days after this one. So wherever you are, whatever you're doing, I hope you're having a great day. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. I literally never upload at the same time, the same day ever in existence. And I hope you guys are doing good with your pans. Have a good one.